Who's having a great day so far? Woohoo! Good. All right. Well, I am Brian Baker, and I'm very grateful to CFRI and to be here with you tonight. I do want to ask your permission before I start, though. I want to ask your permission to do something. Now, I promise I'm not going to sell anything, but as I educate you on this topic, I will be promoting my business. Okay? I believe that if somebody's great at something, they ought to get paid well to do it. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. So, raise your hands if you're ready to do more deals more often. Woohoo! Today you're going to learn how to win the marketing game. Okay? I want you each to focus on success. Okay? Together, we're going to open doors, grab attention, keep score, and win daily. Can we do that together?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's begin. So, first, I want to make sure that each of us here understands that we're all running a business. Nod your head, yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, so marketing really has two needs to fulfill. One for your business and one for your client. Okay? Your business needs profit to continue, and your client needs a solution to make a change and move forward. Now, you can't solve every problem out there. And fortunately, your client doesn't want you to. They only want you to solve their problem. So marketing is really about what kind of deals and what clients you want. So think about that for a second. When you know what you want, you can market much more efficiently. Okay? So take 10 seconds and think about what you want, and then I'm going to tell you what I want, and then we'll share. Okay? So on a count to 5, write it down. Okay, I want this to be very interactive. Please write things down. Write down what your ideal client is and what your ideal deal is. All right. So my target deals are rehabs and subject twos in towns of 40 to 250,000 people. I work with private money. I accept new lenders all the time. I take action immediately. My ideal clients are 30 to 50 years old, family-oriented, low to middle income, and in need of a drastic positive change in their lives. Okay? When you can articulate what you want clearly and quickly and tell other people, you're more likely to find it. So who here wants to share what they want with the rest of us? Raise your hands, but not all at the same time. Mr. Smith, what would you like? Who's your ideal client? What's your ideal deal?
Looking for motivated sellers.
Motivated sellers. Fantastic. All over Florida? Anywhere? Okay. The more clear you can make it, the more you're going to be able to find it. Now, I know you guys know what you want, or at least most of you do. Would anybody else like to articulate on that and tell the rest of us? Roger.
I'm looking for non-performing self-storage units to rehab, rebrand, and flip or not.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else? I thought I saw a hand in the back. Yes, sir.
I want to be able to buy, flip, sell, profitably.
Fantastic. Fantastic. If you don't know what you want already, well, it's time to get started thinking about that, okay? Because you can't market effectively until you know what you want. You have to know what you're looking for, right? Okay? So when you view this business as a game, what do you need to win it? What are your goals? When do you need to achieve them by? Okay? When you know why you're doing something, you're more likely to take the effective steps, the effective action to actually get it. Okay? So now I want to give you 7 seconds to think about that and write those down. Write your one must-have goal and your why you are doing this. I promise I'm not selling you anything, so it's okay to write something down. All right. So my personal goal is to always have $250,000 cash in my bank account and $6,000 a month in passive income to live on. Why? Because I never want to feel obligated to work a job again. I hate working. It sucks. So when you know why you're doing something, you can be a lot more effective at getting it. So would anybody here like to share why they're doing real estate? Anybody? Yes?
So I won't end up like all the rest instead of going on enjoying life, always working.
Very good. We have a smart man up here who's on the right path. He said he wants to do real estate so he doesn't have to end up working. Okay? That's a perfect goal. That's a perfect reason why. Okay? That's very close to my reason why. I thought I saw a couple hands back there. Does anybody else want to share? Yes, sir.
I want to work outside of my business. Let the other people do the work.
Let the other people do the work. There you go. Own the business, not run it.
Right.
Correct. Very good. Very good. Very good reasons. I hope you all have a decent why for why you're doing this. Okay, so a little bit more about my background. I tried direct mailers for months, and I got calls but no deals. I tried putting up bandit signs for 12 months. I got really good at hiring people. I had them going out to high traffic locations, intersections, Walmarts, you name it. I had them putting signs on the ground, up high. I was doing it myself, and I got nothing serious, okay? I tried all these things you see here for months and months, and 99% of the responses I got were a complete waste of time. Does this sound familiar to anybody else in here? Yep. Yeah, say yep if it sounds familiar, please.
Good.
Very good. Yeah. So this was me, this guy right here, enthusiastically starting out, thinking, man, I'm going to send out these mailers, and everything that I send out is going to come back as money, and I'm going to be rolling in the dough. And then over time, I began to realize something. I began to realize that I was getting the same type of mail from other businesses, and I hated it. Okay? All these places were sending me mail answering questions that I hadn't even asked or had the time for. Okay? Such as, do I want to buy a hot tub? Do I want insurance for a newborn? Do I want to go to the grocery store and get baby wipes and mangoes? No. Okay? And then I thought about it a little more, and I looked at the math. Okay? So when we look at the math of a typical deal, okay, the average advertiser is going to get about a 5% response, 3 to 5%. Okay? So if you send out 1,000 mailers, for instance, 50 of those mailers are going to come back with a response, usually a phone call. They want to talk to you and see what you're all about. A lot of those people are going to say, hey, what's my house worth, right? A lot of you have probably heard that. Out of those, 10% are going to actually request an offer from you. Okay, so now you're down to 5 out of 1,000. And out of those, 20% maybe are going to lead to a closed deal. So really what you're looking at is one deal, statistically, for every 1,000 mailers that you send out. Okay, so that's about 15 hours of prep time, $1,400 worth of printing, signing, stamping, stuffing, licking, paper cuts, sticky fingers, and gross, okay? And then you'd have to deal with the other 49 people who are a complete waste of time at probably 10 minutes each on average. That's a lot of waste of time. And I started looking at these things and I thought, you know what, there has got to be a better way to do this. And then it hit me. When I want answers or products or distractions, I go online. I have a question, I get an answer. I want a product, I buy it. And then I thought to myself, wait a second, I'm just like everybody else. Everybody searches online. Even the poorest of people have government-subsidized smartphones, and they search online too. And so I did some more thinking. And the conclusion I came up with is that what we search for online is really based on our emotional impulses. So we're going to do a little test here. I want you to raise your hands if when you want to find something, the first thing you do is you go to your mailbox. No? No? Anybody? No? Okay, the first thing you do is you go to your TV. You go to a road sign. Business cards? Billboards? Okay, when you want to find something, how about do you go to the internet? You look online. Of course! Everybody goes online. When they want to find something, they go online. Everybody makes decisions based on their emotions, and then they go online and back it up with logic. You need to advertise online, okay? And this is how it works, okay? A client, hopefully I have a laser on here. A client will come in with an emotional need to fulfill. They got to find something right now. They got to have it, okay? And they're going to go to Google and they're going to type in a search. Google is going to pop up some information, okay? Ads are at the top. Okay? These are called text ads. They respond to people's emotional impulses, what they want, what they're looking for right now. Okay? Now these ads, they're called pay-per-click ads, meaning that the advertiser does not pay until somebody clicks the ad and goes through to their website. No money is paid until somebody clicks the ad, meaning these ads right here can show for free 1,000,000 times until somebody clicks on them. Okay? So if the advertiser only, yes sir?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like the example that you're using with the 1,000 pieces of direct mail.
Yes.
Was it a concentrated group that you were focusing on?
Well, most people send out direct mail to a target area, right, to a neighborhood. And I think most people in here could tell you that 3 to 5% response is pretty good. It's actually average, if not good, okay? So yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking at, is one deal out of every 1,000, statistically. Okay? And so you start bringing down the numbers, and it's like, wow, this actually costs a lot of time and money to do these things. Okay? But if you look at online ads instead, and you look at the same rates as direct mail, right? 5% response, 10% conversion of those, and 20% actually to a closed deal. And if you're only paying $10 per click, then you're looking at $500 per deal. That's 3 times more deals for the same amount of money that you're spending on direct mail. So everybody put 3 fingers up and say 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. Perfect. Okay? And now you realize that online ads can save you more time, money, and give you more peace of mind. So now that now you learn what that's for, we're going to set you up online and get you started in this game. Okay? There's a lot of content here, so make sure you pay attention. So just imagine having a website like one of these. Yeah, and feel free to take photographs, please. I love it. Just imagine having a website like one of these. Okay? Beautiful, clean, simple to use, simple to understand. They're fast. Who'd like to have a website like one of these? Say, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay? You can have one, you can build one or have one built for you fast. Okay? I recommend starting with a good domain name, something like bobbuyshouses.com. You can get that through something like GoDaddy. And then using a web editor like Weebly to use their easy drag and drop buttons and add text to your website to start populating it with content. Raise your thumb if you understand what I'm talking about. Perfect. Now when you choose a name for your website, follow these tips here. You want to make sure, especially, that you keep your name short and sweet. So number 6 is probably the most important on this slide here. You want to keep your domain name to 27 characters or less between the 2 dots. www.27characters.com. Okay? Remember that for later. It's important for the text ads. Also, almost just as important is capturing similar domain names. There are some interesting individuals in CFRI who will go around and asking people what their website is. Why? So that they can get the misspellings and capture the people who misspell when they go to your website. Okay? So you want to make sure that you capture similar domain names so you capture those misspellings. A lot of people aren't very good spellers, which is fine. Okay? Next, take the time to have a beautiful website built for your business. You want to put the offer in big text up front so the client knows exactly what they get when they go to your site. You want a value-oriented description right below that. And then you want a large call to action button, something obvious where the client knows where to go to fulfill their emotional impulse. That's what we're doing here. They go into Google, they have something they need to get right now. They want to find something. They see your ad, they click, they go to your website, and they want to get it now. So give them the button to get it now. Right? Keep the text on your site concise and effective and value-oriented. So first, before I go any further, I want to make sure, how many people here don't have a website? Quite a few of you. Okay, so for those of you who raised your hands, I want you to write something down. Don't trip over the dollars to save dimes. Okay, it's worth paying a few $100 to have a website built so that you can make tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit in the long run. So I have 3 more words for you people to write down also. Just do it. Okay? If you don't have a website already, just do it. All right, so the thing you got to remember though is that this is Google's game. Websites show up in Google. They own the space, right? And to beat the game, you got to learn to play by Google's rules. They are a business after all. They want to make money, okay? And they decide what to show or not show in their space, in their domain. So make sure you follow these guidelines when building your site. It's very important. After 3.5 years and thousands of dollars spent, believe me, I've run into a lot of their policies and guidelines, and they're not always so clear-cut. I've had a lot of phone calls directly with Google trying to figure out exactly what they want me to do with my website because it just didn't pass their test. As you can see here, this is an example of a campaign website that got suspended. A site suspension like that can shut you down. It's up to Google. It's their business. Okay? Yes, sir?
What does it mean to be mobile ready?
That it shows well on a smartphone or a tablet. Right. Google, back in April 25th of last year, made a major change to make sure that websites were mobile ready. If your website was not mobile ready, you were kicked down to the very bottom of the very last page. Okay? Google's always constantly changing policies and rules. You got to keep up with those things when you're doing things online. It's a much faster game. And I'll get to that a little bit.
So most of the websites designed like the last couple of years or so, they're going to already be mobile?
Yes. Yeah, and most website builders like Weebly or Wix or whatever have a mobile-ready kind of back end to things, so it kind of seamlessly converts for you. They make it very easy these days. Any other questions on that? No? Okay.
I got a question.
Yes?
Do you recommend being really specific? Like if you are a rehabber, do you want different websites for probate people and elderly people?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll get to that.
All right.
Yep. All right, so remember this slide. Easy to remember domain name, 10billionleads.com. We've got a large offer, big bold text so the people know what they're going to get. And then we have the button to take action now, contact us about online ads. Okay, and now you know where to go to get your website built and online fast as well. And now that you have your website built, you're set up online, what's the next thing you got to do? You got to grab attention. You got to get in front of people. And to do that, we're going to use Google AdWords. That's adwords.google.com. Okay, that's Google's free platform for advertisers. Okay, I encourage you all to go check it out. And the structure of AdWords is kind of reminds me of actually going out to eat dinner. Okay, you have a restaurant that serves a type of food. They have a menu of selections, and then each plate has carbs and proteins. Now, a campaign encompasses all the ads for a particular type of business, just like a restaurant serves a particular type of food. If you're a realtor investor, you probably want a campaign for your realtor side of the business and another campaign for your investor side of the business. You want to keep them separate. And that goes to your question a little bit there, right? You want me to clarify any? Jennifer?
I'm still not clear as to whether that's one website or a gazillion websites.
Well, in this case, if you're doing like a realtor investor, I would have two separate websites. If you're an investor and you're buying and selling, like you're looking for buyers and sellers, I would have two separate websites. Just based on my 3.5 years of testing, if you have them both on the same website, people are going to come in to sell their house and then realize that you're making more profit on their house and they're going to go somewhere else.
What if you're a rehabber and you target different markets?
You could have subdomains of your website geared towards specific cities or towns, but if, in general, for most people, one website for rehabbing houses for getting motivated sellers that's fine. Just don't sell houses on the same site, right? Okay, so just as a restaurant serves people looking for that kind of particular food in a particular region, we have particular businesses here, we can define where those ads are going to be shown so that only those people looking for your business, for what you offer, are going to be shown those ads. So in this example campaign, I've highlighted several counties in Central Florida that this example campaign would show ads to. Okay? Now this actually has a lot of granularity. You can go all the way out to the national, multinational level. You can say, I want to target all of the United States. Or you can go all the way down to the city level, the zip code level, the congressional district. I only want to target 34711. And you can go in there on Google AdWords and highlight exactly where you want to advertise. So you can get very specific with what you want and where you want to be. Again, you need to know what you want, right? If you have a whole bunch of money and you're just throwing it up against the wall, eventually something will stick, but the rest of your money is a complete waste, right? But if you're a sniper target and you know exactly what you're pointing at, you're probably going to hit it. And you only use that specific money for a specific topic or a person. All right, so each campaign can encompass multiple ad groups, which I often like to think of as the selections on the menu at a restaurant, okay? Each ad group serves a different need of your ideal client. So if you're a realtor and you do listings and you also work with buyers, you want to have separate ad groups for the both of them, okay? And I'll kind of extrapolate on this in a little bit, but you want to keep them separate. You want to advertise differently to people who want to do a listing than you want to advertise to people who want to do a buyer. Okay, they're looking for two different things. You got to put yourself in their shoes. What do they want? So this is what we're doing here, right? Your client, the seller, for many of you, is going to come into Google and they're going to have a specific need to fulfill, a specific emotional impulse. They're going to type their search up there, which is also known as a keyword, and Google is going to give them what they believe is the best answers to their question, okay? The best answers to their keyword. Okay? And at the top of those answers is going to be ads. Okay? So the keyword is what triggers Google to show answers in the form of web pages and ads. All right? It's the keyword that triggers what is shown. Raise your thumb if you understand that. All right, I saw most of the thumbs. That's good. Does anybody not understand that? Okay. I didn't say raise your thumb or not. So keywords are kind of like the carbs on the dinner plate. They give your ad the emotional, they give your ad the energy to show to your client, okay? It's like the emotional energy used to show your ad to the client. And so what you really want to do is you want to think about the client and put yourself in their desperate shoes, right? If they're a motivated seller, they're going to be in a desperate situation, the kind of situation you want them to be in as an investor. And you got to think about what they're going to type as a keyword. What are they going to search for, right? Write this down. Action-oriented clients type action-oriented keywords. Why? Because they need to take action now. They have a serious problem. They got to do something about it now. So they're not going to go to Google and say, well, I'd like to sell my house sometime. No, they're going to go to Google and say, I need to sell my house now, right? I got a problem. I need to fill that emotional need, that emotional impulse to do something about it. So as keywords are the carbs on the dinner plate, the text ads are like the protein. They give your business the strength to capture your client's attention and reel them into your website. With text ads, you got to make sure that every line is effective, okay? Especially your headline. Make your headline count. In fact, write this down. Your text ad is your business first impression on your client, okay? Think of it this way. It's like you're heading down I-4. You're in traffic, you're surrounded by Corollas, Camrys, Accords, the usual stuff, and all of a sudden a bright green Lamborghini speeds right by. What do? Well, you look at it. You can't help but look at it. It grabs your attention. That's what you want your text ads to be like. You want them to stand out from the crowd. I can tell you, over all this time that I've been doing this, so many ads look the same. I don't know how they get any business, because they just look the same as everybody else. You got to stand out and grab attention. Raise your left thumb if that makes sense. Left thumb. All right. Just making sure you're paying attention. All right. So remember, the client comes in, they type in a keyword, okay? It's their search, their emotional need. Google spits out answers in the form of web pages. Text ads are going to be at the top, okay? So you're responding to emotional impulses with the text ads. Okay, just remember to follow Google's rules or they'll never let your business take off, okay? So let me ask, based on what you see here, can I have an ad that says I sell soda for $1 a can?
No.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Can I have an ad that says I sell Coke for $1 a can?
No.
No, because Coke is trademarked. Yes, soda is not trademarked.
But if you're Coke?
If you're Coke, that's a good question. I think you can. But you'd have to register with Google so that they know who you are. If you don't follow Google's policies, and there are quite a lot, okay, then you will get a nasty gram from them. I've gotten several of these. Saying that your AdWords account may get suspended, and they may do it indefinitely. If they really don't like you and don't like what you're doing and you're just doing it repeatedly, and they see that you're just not, you don't care, they will shut you down, okay? Which means no more business, right? So you got to make sure that you navigate their policies, and they put their policies out there. There's a whole, website that tells you all about their policies, and they have a phone number that you can call and talk to them about as well. I see your questions. Yes.
See the look on my face.
Yes, I did.
Maybe I missed it, maybe you said it, but what do you mean by no overuse character?
Oh, you can't have bang, 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 pound, pound, pound. You can't have heart symbols in there and all this kind of crazy stuff that you'd see in Craigslist. So that's the kind of crazy characters I'm talking about. So Google wants your ads to be natural language. They want it to sound like English. They want it to look like English, right? Or whatever country you're in, right? They want it to sound fluent, and they want it to be relevant to what they're showing. Yes, Roger?
No redirection to another website?
Yes, yes. If you have sellmyhousenow.net and it redirects to sellmyhousenow.com, they will say, no, it has to go straight to sellmyhousenow.com. They don't want people to be misled to one website and then get flipped to another. Which makes sense, right? You don't want a common advertiser to mislead you into buying a product when it really is something else, right? Misrepresentation, that sort of thing. Raise your hand if that makes sense. And you understand. Good. Okay. So great advertisers do the following. Please photograph this, write this down, especially the bottom one. Great advertisers track their dollars and keep score. Okay, if you're not tracking your dollars and keeping score and making sure that things are headed in the right direction, then you are throwing money out the door. Okay, your marketing is ineffective. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of new investors do. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that while I'm waiting for photographs?
So what's the best way to do that? What's the best way to track
Well, with advertising, they give you, with Google AdWords, they give you how much dollars you spent, what kind of rates you have, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute here, just to show you how to keep score. We're actually going to do that next. I'll show you how to do that. Thought I saw a question. Yes, sir.
The bottom band you see there, is that 10 billion leads.com?
10billionleads.com. Yes. That's my company. Yes. All right. So now that I've shown you what marketing is for and how to set up your business online, we want to do just that. We want to keep score. Okay. After all, this really is just a big game. Okay. It's a lot of numbers. It's just a big game. So the aim of the game is to get your ad to show up at the very top of the search page. A person comes in with a need, a must-have right now, and you want to be at the very top to give it to them. So raise your hands, point to the sky, and say, get to the top.
Get to the top.
And that's exactly what I specialize in when managing other people's ads, is getting their ads to the top. Okay? Here's a scale to help you keep score by. 10 BL, 10 billion leads, that's where I'm at right now after 3.5 years and thousands of dollars spent. Okay? Say Zoom if you'd like to fast forward 3 years and save thousands of dollars. Zoom. Good job. Okay, so let me talk about these a little bit. Page position. Page position, let me go back here actually. Page position is what position you are on the page. Okay, it's how high you are up on the page compared to your competitors. Okay, so the smaller the number, the better you're doing, right? You want to be number one on the page every time. Okay, I do want to throw a little caveat here. As of February 19th, the ads that used to be on the side of Google are now moved down to the bottom of Google. So if you're not showing at the top, then you're way at the bottom. Okay, so you need to get your ads to the top or you won't be seen. Okay, it's very important. They're making big changes right now. Competition rank. Competition rank is how well your website ranks against others in terms of how much it's shown, how often it's shown, how relevant it is to people. Google comes up with a competition rank score, okay, to tell you how well you're doing against other competitors. Click-through rate. This is how, what percentage of people respond to your ad. What percentage of people click through your ad. Google measures that for you. Okay, that kind of goes to your question, sir. Is how do I know how many people are coming to my ad and how do I know how effective it is? That's your main score right there, is click-through rate. Okay? Conversion rate, that's on your website. Okay? That's how well does your website convert people coming into your site and asking for an offer. How many of those people actually request an offer from you once they're in your website? And then of course deal rate is completely up to you. There's very good marketers in here. Ron Smith, for example, I'm sure he can get probably much better than 20% deal rate out of all the people that he converts asking for an offer. Okay? Most advertisers, most new investors are going to be much lower. Okay? But you practice, you get better. You use scripts, whatever, to make you better to increase your deal rate. So I want to make sure that you guys have a scale to keep score by, because when I started out, I didn't know how other people were doing. I didn't have a reference. So I think this is very helpful for you all. And here's some campaigns that I'm actually managing right now. These are real numbers. Okay? So let me go through each of these. And I do this to show you that you can do much better than average, all right? And you can continue to improve. That's actually my mission with everything I do, is to continue to improve and to help everybody improve with what they're doing. So I see some of you are kind of squinting your eyes. I understand it's a little hard to read from back there. Here we have an impressions column, okay? And these were taken from different campaigns that I'm running, different slices, okay? So here's an impressions column. This is what you'd see in AdWords. The impressions tells you how many people have seen a particular ad, okay? So this would represent one campaign. Each line would represent one ad or ad group, depending on how I sliced it, okay? So for this particular ad group, over 3,630 people saw it. But if the click-through rate, if the response rate is down in the zeros, then that's a horrible campaign. Impressions doesn't mean anything. It's just a waste of money, right? Impressions is the amount of times somebody has seen your ad. It's the amount of times it's the amount of times that Google has shown your ad on their page. So what you're really looking for is clicks. How many times have people clicked on your ad? Okay, and as you can see for this campaign, I mean, it can range from 2 to whatever. If people are going to see your ad and you want them to click on it. You want your ad to be relevant to what they're looking for. That's a measure of success. CPC is a cost per click. Cost per click for keywords, especially in Central Florida, can range quite a bit depending on what market you're in. As you can see, these ads here, cost per click ranged from $3 up to $18 per click. And it's a flowing market. It's almost like the stock market. It's changing all the time depending on supply and demand, how many competitors are competing for different keywords. Yes?
I'm confused by this. Are we looking at data, like it doesn't go across?
It doesn't go
Looking at
across.
one campaign?
Yeah, each of these are from different campaigns.
From different campaigns?
Yeah.
Do they, as you go across in a row, do they relate to each other?
No, they don't. These particular ones don't relate to each other directly. These are just to show you slices from different campaigns I'm managing. I didn't want to show you one person's campaign. I just didn't feel that would be right. But these are slices from different campaigns that I am managing.
You made this. This isn't what Google gives you.
Google shows you each of these columns in a complete format for a single campaign.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for asking. Yes.
Could you elaborate a little more on the average of the rate? How does that figure come up? The $18 versus the $3.17? Is that per click?
Yeah. So there are a lot of people competing for different keywords. You know, like we buy houses, that keyword. The more competitors you have for that keyword, the more they're willing to pay to be put on top, right? So the cost of that keyword starts to rise. Now it changes every minute of every day because customers and competitors change how they advertise every day. There's a lot of competitors out there, and supply and demand for a keyword fluctuates, even with the time of day. Late at night, keywords are cheaper because there's less people competing on them, right? And there's probably less people clicking on them too, right? So it's really a flow that kind of happens all the time.
Automated.
Yeah, Google has it all automated. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Aren't you bidding against the other people? Like you can raise your price?
You can set your bid, or you can have Google bid for you. And it's not Google's mission to bid you out of bid you out of money. They just want you to. They will put you 1 penny on top of the other person if you say I want to be on top. So they'll get the highest bid and they'll put you up 1 penny if you let them. Otherwise, you can tell them I only want to bid $10 per click, and they will max you out at a $10 bid for every click. And if the bid is higher than that because of other competitors, then your ad will not show for that keyword.
But then why wouldn't everybody say, yes, I want to be 1 penny more? And then everybody's cost is going to be 1 penny.
Yeah, it's the cost. Not everybody's willing to pay $18 for a click, right? Some people's budgets aren't even that high for an entire month. So let me explain that a little bit. You have a budget that you set up for Google AdWords, okay? $500 a month, let's say. That comes out to about $16.67 per day if you spread that $500 out of over 30 days. Google will not spend more money than you allow them to spend. If you say I only want $500 per month, $16.67 per day, they will max you out at $16.67 per day, and you will not bid any higher, and you will not win any more bids once your money is tapped out. Does that make sense?
If you go to $18, you don't know if you can get that.
If you go to $18?
Because you say you max at that time was 16, then something goes
Yeah, exactly.
You miss that point.
Exactly, then you miss that opportunity.
Then the mean is, let's say you have 100 clicks, then you have to pay $180 and whatever.
Yes, yeah, for the 100. So if this,
Google. You pay to Google.
correct. Your ad budget goes directly to Google. You're paying them to be on that page, right? And that's also the reason that ads are shown on top of SEO information, normal web pages, right? Because normal web pages, they are, you guys know what SEO is, right? No. Okay. SEO is search engine optimization. It's what most people will tell you to do for your web page to get it up to the top of a page. You have to really optimize your SEO. You have to put all these keywords on there and blah, blah, blah. And while that's all good and it'll get you free clicks, you know, that's how the regular web pages show up, is through SEO tactics. Text ads will always show up on top of them because they're paid. People are paying to have their ads shown on top of the normal websites. Okay? So SEO, search engine optimization, is a process that also takes many, many months to achieve to get your page to rise to the top. Well, most people starting out don't have many months behind them of a website to get them up in the rankings. But a new investor can go in there and on day one say, I'm going to pay 20 bucks per click and be #1 position on the page and get all the clicks they need. Okay, does that make sense? Raise your right thumb if that makes sense. I see right thumbs. Okay.
So that happens, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It happens daily. So if I go in and I'm the top bidder at 18, how long before somebody else comes and jumps in?
It really depends on who's out there. You know, I mean, if there's 20 people clamoring to be on the top and your max bid is 17, and somebody else says, well, I'm willing to put limitless, then they'll put them at 1701 and beat you out of it.
I'm saying,
right?
if I win the bid, then how long will I have at that particular?
If you win the bid,
right,
your money's used up If you only have $17 allocated for that day, then you're out of the picture, and that competitor is out of the race. Now there's fewer competitors to bid on those numbers. Does that make sense? So it's always supply and demand. Once your money's tapped out, you're out of the race, and somebody else gets to be on top. Which is really good, actually, for all of us, because once we're done, just a minute, once we're done with our budget, somebody else can be on top, and they can get the ads, right? Yes?
I'm just wondering whether you can select the time of day when the amount that you want to be high is that.
Yep. You can select the time of day that you want your ads to show. You can automate how much you want to bid per time of day. You can automate where you want it to show up, how you want it to show up. You can do a ton of things in Google AdWords. It's very, very, what am I looking for? Detailed as to what you can do. Any more questions on any of that before I move forward? Yes, sir?
I know this may sound strange, but what exactly works better, .com or .net?
.com. .com always works best. Everybody knows .com, right? Yeah. So page position, average position here, this is how high up your page shows up in Google, right? So the ads that I manage, the ads that I manage most often have a page position of between 3 and 1. My ads normally show up in the first to third places on the page. You want to be high again on the page because now they're putting all the others down below. I think they have 1 through 5, maybe 1 through 4 at the top, and then the rest are going to be stuffed at the bottom of the page. Okay, click-through rates. These are the kind of click-through rates that I'm getting here. 100%, that's actually a fluke. That was just a 1 out of 1. But 45%, that's a real one. 7%, 3.5%. My average is much better than your typical advertiser, okay? And I continue to improve. Impression share. This is how often your page is shown versus your competitors and what position it's shown in, okay? This example campaign here, the ad that I was shown 95% of the time compared to my other competitors. My nearest competitor was 74% of the time. And my ad was also showing in first place while his was showing in third. Does that make sense to you? So 95% of the time, my ad's being shown in top position. 75% of the time is my nearest competitor that he's being shown, and he's only showing up in third position. You really want to get your ad up to the top to get the best leads. And then conversions on contact page. Again, this is just to show you that it's completely possible to do better than the average. Most people convert 10%. Not all my pages do this, but I do have one that is converting at 63%, meaning 2 out of every 3 people that come to that contact page are going to ask me for an offer. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes?
I just wonder, does Google have statistics to tell you that if you, for those 3 ads that show up at the top, that really the one in the top spot always does get clicked more than number 2?
No, the one in the top spot doesn't always get clicked. It really depends on the industry and how motivated people are to do business, right? How much action they want to take. So the keywords are very important as to what you're trying to, what kind of client you're trying to get. Was everybody able to hear that question? She asked if the ad in the top position is always the one that gets the most clicks, and I said no, not always. Okay, sometimes it's the 3rd or 4th position that gets the most, and that could be because it's right above the SEO pages, right? Some people want to skim down past the ads and see the free stuff, right? Which makes sense. They aren't as motivated. That's probably a separate industry. That doesn't happen so often in real estate when you're looking for motivated sellers. Of course, not all investors are looking for motivated sellers, right? Some people are looking for probates or other situations. Yes? Yes?
That's what I want to ask you, because when I see this ad, the impression, as a regular consumer, like, oh, I have to pay more for that because they pay.
Right. Well, but they work, right? I mean, you're driving around and you see bandit signs on the side of the road. How many of you actually call bandit signs? Are you wholesalers? Wholesalers, okay? Because that's their business. How many of you actually respond to postcards that you get to sell your own home? No, because you're not motivated sellers. Right? If you're a motivated seller, you're going to respond to an ad, whether it's a postcard or an online ad or a sign on the side of the road. You're mentally in a different position, right? Which is very difficult for us as investors to think about. Okay? You have to put yourself in your ideal client's shoes, in that ideal situation. What are they thinking? What do they need right now? Can you give it to them? Okay? And the first place they're going to go is online. Everybody knows it. You just showed me a few minutes ago that everybody goes online first. That's where we go. So you got to advertise online. Okay? So here's something to think about. All right? Smart advertisers hire an expert to run the ads for them and get 11 times the deals of their average competitors for little to no effort at all. Okay? Point to yourself and say smart advertiser. Point up front and say expert. You know where to find me. So now that I've shown you what marketing is for and how to set up your business online and how to keep score, I want you to write something down, okay? To win daily, you've got to be smarter than your competition. It's never, ever about working harder. If you're at home busting your butt, putting letters together, writing signs, driving around town doing all this stuff, you're working too hard. You're working way too hard. Trust me, I've been there. I did not like that, okay? So, with online ads, we can do all these things you see here in a flash to get you more of the deals you really want, okay? Every one of these things can help you get more of the leads you're looking for. Photograph it. Yes?
Another question, would you think that it's better to get the ads or the pages that are free or both?
Well, while you're doing your ads, you also want to work on getting your page up to the top for free as well. You can do both, but they're not related to each other. You can pay money and have a quality ad that'll go right to the top every time, but then your page, in terms of showing up for free, could be way, way down there.
You need relevant content.
You need relevant content. You need longevity on Google. You need to be there for a long time. Okay, you need people linking to you saying that you're a really good person to sell a house to. Okay, and that's why SEO can be so difficult for a lot of people, because it takes a lot of effort. I mean, it's free. What do you expect, right? If you pay for something, you're likely to get better value, better service. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Did everybody hear that or understand that? Okay. He was asking if it's good to do both SEO, which is getting your page up for free, and paid ads at the same time. And the answer is yes, but they're two separate paths. You work on them separately. Okay? They both end up on the same page, but for different reasons. Does anybody have any questions while I'm walking through this? Start with him over there. Yes?
So with your service, do you do, does it include website development or?
Yeah, I promised I'm not selling. Check out our page. I appreciate the question.
I'm not buying either.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. No, really, I encourage all of you to go out this and try it yourselves. And then when you need help, come to the expert, okay? Hold on. Yes?
What keeps your competitors from clicking on your ad and running up your cost?
You have to watch out for competitors. When you choose what keywords you show, you can also choose what keywords not to show for, right? And you begin to learn over time what your competitors are looking for and how to avoid them, because there are going to be clicks that come into your website and that bounce right back. They don't do anything. Most likely, they're either not motivated, which means you're getting the wrong people, or they're other competitors trying to eat up your ad cost. Okay? So it's something you can watch out for. Hold on. Yes, Foster?
Brian, how can you target, or can you target locally? Just we want Orlando, or we want Sanford?
Yep. Yep. You can target Orlando and Tampa, together or individually. I mean, you can get down to the zip code level. You can bring it back to the county level, state level. Yep. Yep. And you get exactly the people you're looking for. Yes. Hold on. She had a question first.
Is there anything they track where you can sort of see who some of those dead leads are that are clicking on to see if it is your competitor?
Yeah. There's a couple tools that I'll show you in just a minute to help with that. To help track dead leads, is what she called them. So, yeah. Yeah, and just a sec on that. Yes?
The thing with them clicking, isn't there anything you can do about it? Because that kind of seems like playing dirty.
Yeah, so he's saying that, competitors clicking on your ad seems like playing dirty. Is there anything you can do about it? Yes, there are. You can watch out for those kind of individuals coming into your ad. You can actually see what keywords people search for and what brings them to your ad and your web page. And then there's also a couple tools that I'll show you in a second here where you can actually watch people step through your website and see what they're doing and see if they're the right kind of people. Yes?
So what you're saying is that you can basically block them?
You can basically block them out. You can avoid them, right? I mean, if somebody's not treating you nice, you go the other way, right? That's the same concept. Okay? Any other questions? You got the expert in front of you. Go ahead and ask away. I'm open to questions. Challenge me. Customers and clients change their needs by the minute, okay? And traditional ads just don't have the flexibility to keep up with that. Online advertising does. right? So raise your hands if you believe that perceptions can change in an instant. Of course they can. Look at the stock market. It changes all the time. Okay, it's the same sort of deal with people who are looking to sell their homes. Different things pique their interest. You know, one thing that was hot a couple months ago was ads related to superheroes. You know, I can buy your house super fast because the Avengers was out. You know, the different superhero movies were coming out, and that's what was on people's minds. You got to do your market research and see what people are tuned into. Okay. Now, fortunately, Google provides us with some really great tools to help us avoid some of this constant fluctuation of where people are going, okay, and to help us deal with it. So the first one that I highly recommend getting into is Google Analytics. Now this is where you can put your site into Google. These are all free, by the way. They want you to succeed. They want you to pay money for their ads. Do good business. Google Analytics is where you can enter your site and track the people that are stepping through it. You can actually see which web page they go to, for how long. You can see what web page they skip to after that. Okay, you can see if they're using a mobile device like a cell phone or if they're using a desktop. You can see if they're from North Carolina or if they're from Florida. You can see all kinds of stuff with Google Analytics. I highly recommend you put your website on there. Okay, Google Trends is a tool that you can use to go and search the popularity of keywords for the past 15 years. Okay, Britney Spears was hot back in 2005. Go check it out. Okay, foreclosures was hot back in 2009, 2010, right? Google Trends will show you it. It'll show you a graph of the popularity of these different keywords. Okay, Google Webmaster is a tool to help you to have Google look at your site from a technical perspective and make sure there's no bugs on it. They will actually recommend fixes if they find things that are wrong with your website. Okay? PageSpeed Insights, another great Google tool. You can enter your site there right now if you have one, and it'll tell you how fast they believe it's running. They'll give you a score for your user experience, okay, based on a mobile device and a desktop device. And that score is kind of what they're using on the back end too to determine whether or not to show your ad near the top or not, right? Because they want, the people that are coming into Google, they want to have a great experience. So they want to make sure that the ads that are there go back to websites that are highly responsive, right, and highly relevant to what they're looking for. So they want your website to be really fast. That's the game these days, is make your website fast and make it mobile ready. Okay, raise your left arm if that makes sense. Okay, good job. All right. Plus, with Google Tools, you can get a good feel for the playing field, not only locally but anywhere in the world. Kind of like watching the footage of an old football game to see the other team's strategies and moves. You can go on there and see what people are doing, right? Do your market research. How are other people getting leads, or how do they appear to be getting leads? Copy them, right? Join them. If you can't beat them, join them. Okay? Now, the main question most people have is, does all this really work? Okay, well, you bet it does, okay, but don't take my word for it. Listen to somebody like Rob Arnold. He's been around CFRI for a really long time. He's a very reputable member. He was doing ads since 2013, okay? I came in, he hired me in 2015 because he wanted somebody smarter to manage his ads. On day 2, I increased the effectiveness of his ads by 3,400%. Okay, and I'm doing the same for others in CFRI. They're just not going to tell you until I get their testimonial. Enough said. So, Juliet Langer, she's a new investor, okay, and she wanted to know how we can get her leads. She didn't want to do all the work of the direct mailers, putting out the signs and all that kind of stuff. So she came to us, and we got her several leads to her website. Google ads are effective. Bottom line, Google ads work. All right? Now you know where to go if you want to take serious action, get more deals more often.